Greetings to all, this is Aridif. We understand all of you desire to work in the co-creation energy with your month of June and the energy that co-creates from the collective consciousness to your own perceived reality. This which is named your Pleiadian Pulse for the time that you perceive as the monthly cycle of June. Now, of course, before diving into this construct, of course, the two things that we have always expressed, first, above and beyond all things that are expressed in this day, to know, to feel, and to perceive that you are loved in our perspective is of the utmost importance. Secondly, it is our greatest excitement, and within that same form of great excitement in which we co-create with you, not only you as an individual, but you as an entire collective consciousness as well. Now, as all of you are aware, going into the June cycle, you are ending the cycle previously, the cycle of many alterations of consciousness, many different cycles that work within and as a part of the human collective consciousness, but more specifically, the Earth collective consciousness. And as all of you are aware, the Earth collective consciousness is a small portion of your solar system consciousness. You know that tied to the Earth consciousness is your lunar consciousness, that which is known as the moon, that which dictates your 28-day cycles of your month. So, of course, the co-creation of the pulses that we share come from a broadened spectrum of your solar system energy, as it co-creates as a part of the galactic collective energy and as a part of your solar system energy, the Earth consciousness, held with that lunar consciousness, or as we dive deeply into the human collective consciousness in Earth. So all forms of these collectives are perceived, all of these energies are perceived and adhered to in the understanding of how one energy works with the other, and how that energy dictates certain patterns to the Earth collective consciousness, remembering that these energies are a part of the natural cycles, meaning it does not rule what will occur to you. It will not rule the way that you create your reality, but it does hold the form of energy and co-creation that molds the environment around you, the ambient force of energy behind you, utilizing certain types of energy at certain times can be beneficial, removing yourself from certain environments and experiences when energies are against what you are trying to create can be beneficial. The same form that all humans utilize in their tarot, in their cards of oracles, in their cards of tarot. All of these experiences are simply the receiving of that ambient energy that you draw from in times of co-creation. So we start with the first week and the first wave of humans, as we've expressed previously. There are more than two types of humans, but there are often two waves of humans in the collective consciousness. Three, in specifically for the majority of humans, but within the first two you find the alignment and signature of how these energies move. Now the first week of the month that you understand as June holds very supportive energies for regeneration. Now, when we express the terms regeneration, we do not mean that it is only dealing with healing facets, What we mean is the regeneration of things that you desire to create. Many of you have worked on programs. Many of you have worked on projects. Many of you have worked to create something by yourself or with others. And there are up and down waves of how you can accommodate the creation of that energy. This is an upward trend. This is a part of the experience where going back to things that you once started, that you had to remove yourself from in order to rest or facilitate other aspects of your own experience. This is the time for you to come back into the supportive nature of that great desire. Now we understand that many of you go back and forth with the specific cycle frequency, and of course that makes sense for the creative sphere of your own personal experience, but the energy of the Earth Collective and in the human collective supports the picking up of old projects, the picking up of old creations in order to restart and regenerate that excitement towards. Now, this will not necessarily be your greater excitements. It will not be your first passions. These will be the supportive passions within. Many of you in how you create financial energy, but still holding passion in what you create financial energy is also important, as this part of the energy is not totally tied to passion, but is tied more deeply to the roots of simply being inside of the earth, of being a human being inside of the earth collective, inside of being a part of the earth structure. This is where constructs such as organization are important. These are the constructs of creative organization that are important. This is the part of either financial understanding or creative energy. What you start in this moment will reverberate throughout the entirety of your year leading in to the very first few weeks of your next year. Important energy of cycle, planting seeds in this time, regenerating what was old and now desires to be new. This is a time for many of you who already create multiple things to stop the path of what has become stale and regenerate your creations into something different, into something more in alignment with who you are. All of you who create long-term understand that patterns you hold inside of yourself shift because you, as a human being, shift. You are not the same human that you were 1 year previous. You are not the same human that you were 3.5 years previous, 5 years previous, 7.5 years previous, 9 years previous. All of these are different versions of yourself. So as you grow, what you create must grow in alignment with you and not simply for the sake of existing in the earthly realm. All of those things that we have shared with you that you can take that was old and turn into new, you do so not only from necessity, but you do so from a co-creational field of practicality, of organization, of allowing the beautiful thing that you created not to become stale. And this first week to the second week, approximately within the time frame of 9th and 10th day of your June month, this energy is highly supportive. It peaks within the time period of 5 and 6 of your June 5th and 6th. It is a cycle for you to put in the energy where your great desires are. Now, After this, and during the last days, towards the 6th and 7th day of the month, going into the full second week, there's also regeneration of the energy inside of you that is more based towards the second chakra. This energy deals with your masculine and feminine energies. It deals with your general forms of sexuality. It deals with your sexual desires. The idea of the energy of who you desire. The ideas of the energy behind how you wish to create sexuality in yourself and balance your masculine and feminine energies are another point of regeneration. Again, the month being a part of regenerational energy is a greater theme throughout. So this part of you has already been leaned against for most humans in the first wave for several months, some of you for multiple years. This part of your experience opens new opportunities for you to perceive yourself differently in the terms of your masculine and feminine, in terms of what you believe that you need versus the actuality of what you do need. Not only to care for yourself, not only to care for the sexual energy inside of you, but how to share that with others without creating further resistances. The energy of your own masculine and feminine imbalance, so that when you co-create with others, you are giving them the most balanced and appropriate version of yourself. Now, of course, we understand Rob himself deeply dislikes the concept that energetic reviews, updates that are monthly, astrology aspects, all of these things that deal with dating processes, romantic relationships. He does not always hold alignment, as he believes that this part is more sensationalized because humans themselves work within the constraints of sexuality from their perspective, feeling like they are imprisoned by their sexuality, or that they are not able to deeply go into their own sexuality, feeling left out of their own sexuality. But this energy is very appropriate for the re-exploration of how to work with your own consciousness. And of course, it is going through the next several months of time, but specifically going into your second week. Now, those who are on the second wave around the 5th, 6th, and 7th will start feeling what all of the others started feeling in the last days of the previous cycle, on to the first. Now back to the first wave of beings. Going from your second to third week, energies are very similar and hold lower levels of creative drive, but higher levels of stability when it comes to the co-creation of energy in both of the previous fields that we have shared, the regenerational fields of energy and creation and sexuality. But now the energy of regeneration of physicality begins to be a very important opening bud of your flower of energy. All of you have either done great work to keep your physical health bound, or have been working against health by simply not allowing the form of self-love that is required to keep one's body healthy. And in the third week, going into the last week, this part plays a very great role. The energy of health has already been shown to all of you in the past 3.5 months, either directly or via association of other humans who have struggled with their own physical health. Large scares have come to you, either through your own personal experience or second-hand, from other humans whom you have seen become ill, become disease-filled, who have had attacks of normal problems in health. And this created fear inside of you. And of course, we understand fear is very useful in the human collective as it pertains to a motivation tool. And some of you required that fear in order to co-create from a higher level a personal understanding and integration of the information that has come into your own awareness. But this energy is allowance of regeneration. Now, for some of you, the base term of regeneration fits quite perfectly. Some of you who have allowed your health to deteriorate due to the lack of self-care can have moments of meditative regeneration, can have moments of energy where you are fixing what is wrong through personal means or co-creative tools, by going to different modalities that you have inserted belief into, that you have supported with belief and thought. Yes, this can be a tool for you, but also regeneration in a greater cycle, regeneration in a greater way to think about regeneration itself. One moment, we will hydrate. When we express generation and regeneration in the terms that we are sharing, what we mean is finding the new pathway for the greater form of health, or for those of you who have mastered health, to give those loved ones great tools and wisdom in understanding how you yourself have found that health. A tool that opens the consciousness for others to regenerate, showing yourself tools that you have learned previously that did in fact work. Now, some of you are already tuning into this, especially those in the first wave of energy are already starting to perceive this greatly, are already making adjustments in your exercise activity, into your dietary energy, into your daily routine of energy. But the process will be highly supported in that third week. Breakthroughs, both mentally and physically, can come through in that third week. They are supported to be created and co-created from higher levels of that understanding in that third week. Some of you simply will dive deeply into that third week with health on your mind. Now, of course, the second wave of beings are going through the second step of dealing with their sexuality in this third week. Now, into the last week, yes, sexuality is still part of that supportive energy, and yes, creating new energies and support in your practical expressions of humanness, yes, will still be a supported level of energy. And yes, working with the physical wellness of your body, still a very deeply practical construct that will work in that third week. As you close out the week, many different emotions may come up for many of you. Many different traumas that have been a part of your experience may come up to you, because all of the 3 weeks previously you are building in regeneration. You are building in the time of summer or winter, depending upon what part of the world you are in. Perceiving that of summer being the land of living, the land of excess, the land of growth, the land of growing, the land of maturity. And those in the winter are going through the land of death, the land of the ability to have your slate cleared and reborn. All of this holds different forms of the same coin. that different side of energy. And through that creative expression, through all of your growing and regeneration, traumas that are left will be more apparent to you. Some of you will strictly deal with that energy in a mental way, as you mostly do, to simply process. Yes, now that I am paying attention to what is practical, now that I am paying attention to my sexuality, now that I am paying attention to the co-creation of energy in my own experience with my health, I realize that these other parts, or these specific parts that I am working to fix, were more troubled than what I believed. And through that may come some form of pain. Now we understand the initial reaction for many humans is to avoid. The other reaction is to fight back. Another reaction still is to simply react itself, anger, frustration, concern, simply reactivity itself. What we suggest is acceptance. What we suggest is work to serenity. What we suggest in that moment where you feel reacted mentally or emotionally, to allow yourself to feel those feelings, to let go of the need to control them, the need to run from them, or the simple reactivity to them, and accept what you feel. Through that acceptance, through that lack of judgment, you'll find a great deal more freedom to work with the energies as it goes into your July month and time period. We wish to express to all of you, as you are creating, you yourself are the creator of your version of reality. We simply share with you this concept in order to expand into knowing the supportive layers of energy, and do so at your leisure. We wish to express not only are you loved, but we love you as well, and we bid you all adieu.